Welcome back again, riders. On today's video, another mod for the XSR. We're gonna see what we can do about the stock lights. So the XSR, as most of you who are into XSRs know, is just a regular halogen bulb. We're gonna go ahead and replace it today with an LED bulb that I got off of Superbright LEDs. I will put a link in the description. But let me get this guy out for you and show you. It's pretty cool. It's self-contained, and as you can see, and it even has all like the heat sink and all the electronics, and it's supposed to be pretty plug and play into the XSR. So we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be replacing the tail lights. I got some tail lights from TST Industries. These tail lights are not that great. I don't think Yamaha has replaced their tail lights, I don't know, since the late 70s, early 80s. So we're going to basically be replacing those with these guys. These are LED smoked out tail lights from TST Industries. They come pre-wired, but the other great thing that TST Industries makes is not only do you get the wires, but you get the Yamaha light adapters. So you don't have to do any cutting, any splicing. These things essentially plug right into their lights, and then you have kind of the proprietary Yamaha connector on it. So pretty easy, right? I'm pretty stoked on that. And then of course, the last thing we got was the LED relay. So we're gonna have to replace the relay so we don't get the really fast flickering of each of the lights. Now, the one thing I did do is I got a set of 4 of these guys because eventually we're going to be replacing the ones on the back as well. These guys back here. But the tail tidy's not here yet. It's because of all the COVID stuff and everything, shipping on it is, I don't know, 3 weeks or something. But eventually we'll put a set of these on the back as well, and that'll look pretty slick. But without further ado, I say let's get into this mod, shall we? Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this ring. I can't remember what it's called. But we're basically going to take these off with a 4mm hex. We're just going to unscrew these bolts right here. Get our magnetic dish. If you don't have a magnetic dish, highly recommend you get one because, man, it really keeps like all the bolts and everything nice and safe. So there we go. And I don't think there's one on the bottom. So now we can pop all of this out, and we'll go ahead and disconnect the headlight, and we'll go ahead and deal with this later. We're going to do the tail lights first. So now what we need to do is we need to get the tail light wires, which are all nice and tucked in there. And let's get a flashlight so we can see a little bit better. Bring you guys around here. So we've got a little zip tie. I don't know if it's one of those reusable ones. I don't think it is. I think we're just gonna maybe have to cut it, or no. I don't know. We'll see. But, oh, actually, you know what? We don't have to cut it because the wiring harness that goes to the bike is actually in there. That's good to know. I'm learning something new every day. So we've got a black one and we've got a gray one. I assume one's for the left and one's for the right. So we're just going to lift up on this little tab. We're going to pull these guys off. Pretty straightforward. Now we're going to have to fish these through the back. Now this may be a little bit difficult because of that rubber grommet, the weatherproofing that's in there. But with a little finagling, you can get them through. All you gotta do is just push them through like that. And we got them out. Wow, this bike's like brand new. I've already got like bugs in here. That's kind of crazy. Cool. So we've got the wires free. There's one over here. There's one over here. The next thing we want to do is pop off the lights. So those are pretty easy based on the videos that I've watched. There's this little ring right here. These guys. You just loosen that ring. And then I believe these are just rubber grommets, or like rubber mounts basically, that you just have to kind of squeeze them a little bit, and that'll go ahead and set it free. We'll go over and do the other side. So again, I guess I don't need a flashlight on here. Let's see if I can bring you guys in for a little closer look. There we go. Sorry about the camera work here. Trying to get this stuff done before my wife gets home. All right, so again, we're gonna pull up on this rubber stuff. We're gonna get that little plastic piece out, and really simple to do. You can literally do it with your fingernail. Off it goes. And we are like, did I mention we're not gonna reuse that, but save it, because if you ever wanna put your bike back to stock, you're definitely gonna need that. Cool. All right, we're back. So I want to call out one thing. These TST Industries BL6 lights, they have a logo on them. The logo on the back of these should be right side up, and it should be facing out. So that's how you know what's the left and what's the right. So this happens to be the right turn signal. I don't know if you guys can see that logo in there. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. This will indicate that this needs to go on this side. So what you basically have to do is we're gonna feed the wire through here. This is going to just follow the contour of the hole. So you can see we have the contour of the hole here, and this, we're essentially going to put that there. And then I'm gonna take this one, and there's two different sizes. One of them is labeled Eyes Y A, and one is labeled Eyes Y B. It's a little bit wider. So the wider one goes on the inside. And again, bubble goes in first. So we're basically going to move it around like this. So the bubble actually protrudes into the hole. And then this guy sits on top like that. So we'll go ahead and just temporarily hold that there. Then we're going to get our washer, put our washer on, and then we're going to put our lock washer on, and then we'll slide our bolt over. Now the bolt, or sorry, the nut. The nut's a little tricky sometimes to get over those things, but once you get it, you'll figure it out. Now we're gonna just quickly hand tighten, snug down the nut onto the edge of the light. See if I can get this manipulated a little bit. There we go. And just hand tighten it for now. I'm only going to do one side because you all can just repeat the process for the other side. All right, is that on? Yep, I think we got that on. Okay, so now clearly I have to turn the light around. So we're gonna kind of just finagle the position a little bit. We'll look to see if it's straight. It looks pretty good. Looks good on the inside. And we'll give it a few hand tighten turns. And we'll just leave it like that because we're going to probably have to reposition these later. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get these adapters. So here's the adapter. As I said, we're not using the blue. We're only going to be using the red and the brown. So if we pull this back, brown and yellow go together. And red and black go together. So we'll put these in here and we'll slide these rubber covers on. Now, I tend to agree with what the manufacturer said, and that is these rubber things seem like they would slide off and short out. So what I'm going to do is put a little electrical tape on those and snug them up. So I'll be right back. Okay, so being the anal retentive person that I am, I went ahead and put shrink wrap over this. I just think it looks a lot nicer and cleaner. So now the next thing to do is just feed this through the grommet in the back. So we'll go ahead and loop this through. Okay, and we got it. So now we'll go ahead and do the other side, but like I said, I'm not going to bore you guys with the other side. So when we come back, we'll have both sides fed through and plugged in, and then we'll take care of the headlight. So be right back. Okay guys, so we got all the wires fed through. I got everything connected, and let's give them a test. So, all right, that looks good. Obviously it's blinking a little too fast. We got to put the relay in, but we'll take care of that later. And the left, and that looks good. And I can see that the backs are going as well. So cool, we are all good there. So let's move on to the headlight. Okay, so we've got our stock headlight here with our stock bulb in it, and I got some dead bugs on it. So this insulator is normally sitting on top of here. So you got to take that off, and then you got to pull this little wire, and out comes the halogen bulb. Set that aside. Don't touch the glass because you could potentially ruin the bulb if you ever needed to use it again. So great, we finished with that. Now I'm going to show you a little trick with these, and I had to look this up, but this bulb is essentially going to fit in here like this. But if you do that, how do you get the thing closed? Well, what I didn't know was that this little ring comes right off. Isn't that cool? So now all you have to do is put the little ring in, a little holder, and then you clip it down as if it was just a normal halogen bulb. That snaps in, and now you've got these little pins, and you can essentially just line these pins up and twist your bulb in, and now you're all ready to connect it. So let's go do that. Okay, so connecting the light's pretty straightforward. I think you guys can figure it out. Just take the plug it into the factory stock harness. You're gonna have to tuck all of these wires in. This essentially is going to clip up there. Make sure everything is okay. And then we've got our bolts close by. So we'll finger tight these bolts in here just to hold the housing in. And then we'll tighten them down with a 4mm hex wrench or Allen wrench. That is a lot brighter, that's for sure. High beam, low beam. Scratch that one off the list. Okay, that was pretty easy. It actually probably took me longer to shoot this video than it did to install all that stuff. But before we go, there's one last thing we have to do. We have to put the relay on. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You're going to get your 4mm hex or Allen, and you're going to want to take this cover off. So this is pretty cool lighting, and I really can't wait to put these on the back when I get the tail tidy in. And of course I'll share all of that experience with you guys in a video. So here's the relay, strictly made for incandescent bulbs. So we're just gonna pop that off. We want to save the little rubber grommet though, because we're gonna use that again on this guy. So we'll put the, get a screwdriver or something. How about a hex? Oh, you know what? I can probably lift this up with my fingernail. There we go. All right. Put this grommet back on. Like so. We'll reconnect the new relay. And that'll just go right back into place where the original one was. Cool. Let's test it out. Now, if it works, we should have normal turn signal. There we go. And even on the back as well. And the left one. That looks beautiful. Now, just for shits and giggles, you know, I've got hazards around here somewhere. Yeah. Awesome. Okay guys, that about wraps it up for this video. But before we go, let's go ahead and take a look at something really cool. There she is in all the light glory. That is regular, and there's bright. Huge difference. Yeah, it is so much brighter and more of a 6500 degree white. It is really sweet. Super happy with it. And then in terms of the turn signals, they just look awesome as well. Nice and bright up in the front. The back ones, you see the front. Not as big, but just as bright as the back. I think this is gonna work out just fine. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.